GPX actually has.
And right off the bat, Fredo QT's really thinking about potential dive, but his friend Kribu is not in position to do so. Takenaga going for the invade. Kribu actually showing up to secure the camp for Frey, making sure that he hits that level 4, but that leaves Fredo QT a bit vulnerable. Pull back by Shadow Stampede. No kills yet.
I like the idea that GPX had. Instead of going for the typical play of, oh, we're going to rotate down to the gold lane. No, they send Kribo up to the top side, knowing that they have an advantage because technically Havas isn't a real hero until he hits level 4.
And even then, he would also need to build out the combo points, right? Frederick without items, no, kind of okay.
Kind of meh.
Yeah.
He's great in the 1v1, but as soon as you add another person, the odds of you actually 2v1ing, especially when you just hit level 4, pretty low unless you're a jungler or have some type of advantage. But now, the first turtle is up, and now let's see how they play this out. Dokman, he is leaving. He sees Fredo QT in the mid lane, and they are moving towards that turtle as quickly as possible.
And it just happens to be GPX strong side, right? You have Fredo QT there as well. People also around. Instantly use the Feather Airstrike, and that's just a full combo. Again, Havas at level 4 can't do much against all these crowd control.
Beautifully done. I mean, Havas happens to be collateral in this case. They were looking for Takenaga. Oh,
Takenaga shows up instantly, having his cables cancelled. They use the call altar. Aizawa keeping his friend alive. Ziri also able to get away with the flicker, but Fredo QT is still around. Ray bringing that turtle down to pretty low health. Takenaga wants to contest, but they just force him away. The wall is there from Ziri. Easy retribution secure for GPX.
And this is the main problem with Fanny. She only has a limited number of cables, and especially when you have that purple buff, yes, it charges up back fast, but you know you can punish.
Gone on. Fredo QT almost in range for the pickup. Again, GPX. It's a way better start compared to game 1.
I gotta stop calling Kribo Kribro. It rolls off the tongue very easily.
Coming engage onto Aizawa. Shadow Stampede pulling 2 back. Frey actually dodges the Dominant Blast. And actually find the kill onto Farmist eventually.
Huh? Did he?
But what?
Wow. Oh, because he has bloody retribution. Okay, fair enough. I'll give it to him. I was wondering how in the world did he like retribution like really late, but the dot damage coming out from the bloody retribution was more than enough. And in this case, now this is where they have that pressure. Oh, they managed to get a kill. Instantly, you see the response coming out from Glab to be like, okay, we have to protect our bottom side as quickly as possible.
Yeah, was doing a good job actually trading out against Ziri. In this case, in the force that recall from the Scrog, compared to game 1, you know, Havas was having a great time uncontested. But Dokman, now they know where he is. It's going to pin him into a wall. Ooh. The call altar coming in just in time. They broke through the 10 HP, but Ray is not done this yet. Luminous Blast didn't even get unleashed.
It wasn't able to get it off in time. But with that being said, you can see that the rest of the GTX members are rotating here, and they are catching Glab off rotations, right? They have adjusted a little bit, but I'm expecting that Glab are starting to recognize that this river has been generally very dangerous for them to actually cross on over, especially if you are Dokman.
Ray, yeah, he's fine. He's fine to Lancelot. But, you know, finally for GPX.
That was an ego flicker. It's like, I'm not scared of you. I'm gonna face my fears.
But for the boss side, they finally forced the Claude away from the turret, start chipping away at the shields. Just like you said, that's what GPX needed to do. Been doing actually more than enough, right? The entire bulk of the shield has been chipped away.
Exactly. And honestly, if it wasn't for Dokman and the Guardian's Bulwark, that tower would have basically been destroyed, right? And for this, GPX, they don't mind giving up this turtle because they are basically playing their plan. And even if the turtle happens to be...
And again, look at bot side. Like, Claude is like, well, I guess this lane is not mine anymore.
I mean, there's nothing you can really do about this, but expect GPX now. They've got the bottom tier 1. This is great. Now they're going to...
Oh, wow. Flicker, wow charge. Dokman instantly forced right back. Her voice is coming from the side. Doesn't get the knockup though. And Fredo QT, he is so deep in enemy lines. Her voice the only person left in front. Dokman even throw out the Luminous Blast. Fredo QT is going to flicker away. Turtle going over to the side of Ray. Havas barely making his way out. The wall doesn't really clip him enough. But Aziri, he's gonna try and force the boss away.
Oh,
Almost killing
dude!
him.
Havas! If he didn't use his top to get the extra stats, he would have died there. I don't know how he just trusted he wouldn't die.
The plus 20 defense. That's more than enough.
Oh my goodness, that's frustrating. That's frustrating to see. I'd be fuming if I was Yuri.
Better QT, many getting away. Oh, Takenaga tries to dive right in, but that's not how it works.
It doesn't work like that, and unfortunately, Purple Buff has been stolen away from Game Lab, and this is when GPX are turned up online. They got the tier 1s, the mid-tier 1 is still available, and that's probably going to be the main contention point, but Game Lab, they're not going to let it go that easily, right? And unfortunately, it's going to be up to Ziri to split push and pull attention to himself, so hopefully they're able to do that. In the meantime, Game Lab, on the other hand, they have to keep their eyes out for Kribo.
Found her voice, pinned him into the wall, all the damage is there, and the flicker forward, Numenor Blast actually hitting onto Watt, but there's no follow-up. Watt, he's just gonna dish out damage. They have the Feather Airstrike on upon memory already used. Dolman very low. Predator QT, he's just gonna come in right onto it. His teammates trying to catch up, but Ray will be able to finish the job. GPX basically just doing the Game Lab on Game Lab.
Oh man, Aizawa, there was a moment in his mind where it's like, do I block this? Nah, I shouldn't.
And tier 1 is the target. They take it down. Watt in the corner. No one can deal with him, but Alfredo QT does end up getting sacrificed.
Yep, and now Game Lab, they have to play for the later stages of the game where their main win condition is going to be just hard team fighting, traditional front to front, and if Yuktizi is able to get enough damage on that backline, it should be pretty easy for Takenaga to start clearing up the rest of the members, but we'll just have to wait and see, because right now GPX with the snowball on their side, they've got the momentum, and they also have the economy to kind of press forward with this advantage.
4,000 goal lead as well. Nowhere is 100% safe for this squad, right? He's just trying to pick up the scraps down, but GPX already have control. Ziri, wild charge instantly, proccing the call alter from Aizawa. They will get the turtle for themselves. Ziri does end up going down. Predator QT in the front, and that Ray just goes right in. Big Thorn Rolls, taking out the Lolita. Aizawa really wants to help, but there's just no space for him.
Yeah, but again, it's just, you know, losing out on the turtle, not the biggest deal in the world, but with the lead that GPX actually has, it's great that Game Lab is able to trade 1-for-1, 50-50, especially since they are the team behind, and they trade upwards an EXP laner for support. So very minimal loss on the side of Game Lab's side, and, you know, these are the few trades and interactions you can actually do to start clawing your way back up to an even gold economy.
And you know, while we're on that topic, I kind of want to bring it back to the early condition that you pointed out with Brody, right? What we discussed a bit of how he wants to take down the bot tier 1 as fast as possible. Now all the tier 1s are down. What is the role of this Brody at this point in time?
Well, at this point in time, he's there for momentum. He's the cleanup crew, right? He has Kribo, has good damage, but not enough to one-shot somebody.
Fredo QT flickers to safety. Takenaga going for him. Couldn't finalize the kill, and Watt, again, untouched. Ziri doesn't land the wild charge, but Watt has done enough of that stacks to kill off Dogman.
The cleanup crew is already here, and they're going to do it all again. They're very ult-dependent. Keep that in mind when GPX goes for these fights.
And Ray, he's just gonna go straight and basically makes a full circle into the face of Takenaga. Finally, Game Lab punishes the jungler of GPX. Havor still wants a bit more, but Game Lab's not gonna follow up with that.
Yeah, they're playing very disciplined here, and now Yuktizi is getting access to things like the orange buff here, which he's definitely going to need. But they're still passing it over to Takenaga. I think they should start handing it over to Yuktizi from this point onwards, right? He's the main win condition, and Takenaga is losing a lot of his relevancy, if not for Yuktizi and Aizawa chunking out the majority of the members from GPX.
Dolman. Oh, Spidey senses tingling, guess this wrong. He's probably going to be gone, and Kribu also making it out of there. Ziri doing a fantastic job, but they do end up losing Watt though. This guy caught in a kind of an awkward position with Ziri blocking him away.
Yeah, but a little bit awkward there. 2v2, and Takenaga should be able to finish off Kribo.
Looking for the far side, Takenaga has more than enough damage to get the job done. And Ray won't be able to catch him. This steel cable is just getting him out of the way. And Game Lab, look at the goal differential, back to 1,000.
Exactly. It feels so good to be behind and you trade equally, right? 2 for 2, 3 for 3s, 1 for 1s. It's always more beneficial for the team who is behind because there's no reason for the team who's ahead to be losing out on these trades.
and you get more gold, right? You are always gonna get more money. Uh, all things considered, Takenaga still clean KD 2-0, despite having so far a game that GPX have been pretty effectively shutting him down. They found Ray. Not a situation he wants to put himself in, but GPX starting on the Lord already.
Let's see how this plays out here. Oh, Dokman.
Caught out instantly. Feather airstrike is channeled. The temp HP is already gone. Dokman is in danger. They just dive over the wall. Ray and Watt putting in the damage. The Lolita is already gone. Dokman not in the fight at all. Havos once more surviving with a slither of health. Even tries to respond with Result. But doesn't get anything. While that was happening, Yuktisi on a split push mission on the top lane. And Takenaga, he's in such a good spot to take care of Watt. It might be an angle. Takenaga shows up. Actually, owns the Lord instead. Misses that bit of that window. GPX has the chance to get the Lord, and they will get it.
Oh, they got it. They got it. It was a very interesting play coming out for the side of GameLab here, where they were, again, balancing on a knife's edge, getting a push onto that top side, but at the same time, Watt losing out his winds of nature so early on with the presence of Takenaga alone, who's trying to steal away the Lord from Rexy. Now, he knows from Ray, sorry. But Ray, he knows for a fact that he is a level up on him, so his retribution isn't going to be bigger, on top of the fact that he has that Demon Slayer. So that's the extra added additional retribution damage, which he can't compete with.
And Ray just took care of Takenaga, so no Fanny right now for the side of GameLab. Can't really cut the waves. GPX looking to crash this Lord into that mid inhibitor. Ray also sending that bot wave in. Lord is down, and backdoor protection kicks in. GameLab able to hold on to the inhibitor just for a while longer, but they need 18 more seconds for Takenaga to show up. GPX, they have the full force right there. Fredo QT into the fray. Nominal blast, huge from Dokman. And GameLab finds the counter engage that they've been waiting for the entire time. 4 dead for GPX.
Beautifully done by both Havas as well as Dokman. Havas blocks the initial engagement. Dokman looks further than this Kufra and gets Kribo as well as Watt. They couldn't get out in time. Kribo actually has the flicker and should have flickered early. He just wasn't ready for Dokman to release it so soon for that counter engage. And now look at that gold lead. It's basically non-existent. They've equalized the score.
For the first time, we see GameLab play from behind and they pull this off. A high ground defense. They did lose that inhibitor. That's the silver lining for GPX. But aside from that, GPX have lost every single lead they've gotten themselves. Fredo QT needs to force an engage. Does find Yuktisi and Havos is their best target right now. Yuktisi waiting for an opportunity. He's stacking up his passive. He can go and unleash. Instantly dances onto GPX and gets blown up by Watt. But Takenaga coming in for the cleanup. Picks up 2 in an instant. GameLab once more trading even.
Beautiful, beautifully done coming out from GameLab, and actually they're able to get more gold off of this in comparison to GPX, and now they've taken the lead by 179 gold. Takenaga is going to start walking into the enemy jungle for resources as well.
And there's no one that can stop him. Fredo QT will try. Aizawa is going to be around on this far miss, and overall GameLab have completely recovered.
Oh, okay, looking at the damage leaderboard, Yuktisi and Aizawa are doing a phenomenal job, right? Like, GPX are clumping up way too much. They need to start thinking about the spacing between each of those heroes because, again, if we're talking about, like, the Ghostbusters coming in from Aizawa, it splits off to deal more damage the more people are in the area. So, keep in mind, when you are looking for angles here, you gotta make sure that you're spread out just wide enough so that maybe 1 or 2 people get hit, but not everybody at the same time.
This time for GPX, it will not have control of the Lord Pit. GameLab, they're already basically tickling the Lord a bit. Ray sees all of this happening, but GPX still have members on the top side. In fact, 2 of them. GameLab, they're going to take their time with this.
Yep, as much as they're taking time here, Takenaga is taking way too much time. He goes back in! Oh my god. Wait, Takenaga, is he going to live? Yes, he lives despite the 2v1 happening on the top side. I like the way GPX is actually handling this, right? With the information that they had on hand, they realize they don't necessarily need to contest the Lord. They know that GameLab is trying to bait something out of them.
Havos trying to at least get the cash onto Ray. Can't find it. GPX basically cancelling this Lord attempt, but now both teams will have the full squad around.
Yeah, but unfortunately for for GPX and GameLab, it's the mid inhibitor, right? It's a continuous pushing lane, but it's also a lane that is always going to be. Wait,
oh,
he got oddly low there. oddly
But
low.
Ray's in a very awkward spot. They might catch him, though. Takenaga can't find the angle. Hits the wall instead. Had to force out to fed the airstrike. While that was happening, UTZ is just casually taking the Lord.
Wait, but how much of the Lord has he taken?
And
Honestly, not that
not much.
Yeah, he knows that. He knows for a fact that Lancelot could show up at any time. He knows he's somewhere on that top side. But more importantly, I think both GPX and GameLab have the same idea. They're utilizing this Lord to get a full-on fight and to end the game immediately after.
Fredo QT is holding a very crucial angle as well. Does stop GameLab from kind of walking into the jungle, but GPX, they get to reset and come back to the Lord Pit.
Oh, this is very, very scary here, right? It's all about maintaining these waves. It's all about making sure you do your housekeeping at the right times and have the waves in a position that actually benefits you and is actually slow pushing in your favor to at least tell your opposing team, and hi, you got to clean up the side lanes. If not, it's gone. Oh, Rexy's
Oh, Ray very, very low. Fredo QT jumps in. His team not with him. Takenaga looking to get rid of the immortality, and he will find it. Fredo QT comes back to life. Nothing left in the tank, and Ray gets caught. Big Nominal Blast by Dogman. This Lancelot is in a world of hurt. Can he get out though? Aizawa is there right with him. But the entire team of GameLab is just going to slowly whittle down Ray. He gets dragged back by the Shadow Stampede. GameLab finally finds the fight that they can win.
Oh, an opening. Oh, no, they lose the Farmus.
But they get the far side in return. What? Oh, that is not the place you want to be in. They just dive onto him. And GameLab finds the team wipe in the most crucial moment of this game too. GPX, they lost everything.
They lost everything, and they don't even need the Lord. They have a wave on top side. They're going to push out that mid and run top side as quickly as they can because they know that it's going to be Fredo QT who's coming back up to life. And with this wave, he can push it out to buy a bit of time. But Dokman, just block it. Perfect. Now, look for the end.
Fredo QT is definitely trying to kill the wave as fast as possible, but he's just not dealing enough damage. Ray, he's back in the fray. There's still a bit of backdoor. Ray maybe can do this, but this time it will not be like game one. GameLab cleans it up. They put them behind, they win anyways.